Hi, welcome back to the Gapster channel. I'm going to talk to you about a couple of new Aiyima products, notably the T20, the A20, and also the A80 that was released quite a while ago. And just going to show you a little bit some of the new features because they are stepping up their line, especially with the T20 and the A20. These two are basically slightly of a little higher league than some of their earlier products. The first thing we notice in their new lineup here is that no more cheesy tubes. These are actually PS Vane series, they are 12AX7 or ECC83, so they're actually real known tubes that have fairly decent sound to them. And some of you might ask, well, if it's running on 12 volt, how are these like just little toys just sitting there for looks? No, they're actually what they do is there is a circuit that multiplies that 12 volt to about 180 volts. So it's actually legit system that actually runs on high voltage like the way they should be. Now, this is not state-of-the-art, tube preamp, but this is definitely a positive step in the right direction. And just don't forget that we are still talking about these are low cost, basically equipment that is supposed to appeal to a lot of folks, or maybe it's just like a little desktop system that you want, because the form factor is still pretty small and it's supposed to appeal to, someone trying to run a compact. For example, you compare it here to my Macintosh preamp, you could see there's a size, quite a size difference between the two components. But again, these are two hugely different price points of products. Not to say that the Aiyima are not great. They still actually, for the value that they bring in, I think you can get a lot of money for your dollars here. Another major improvement in this lineup is that we have now XLR inputs and XLR outputs. So these are running on a truly balanced system. So both for the preamp and the amplifier. So basically those two units complement each other. We have some nice big binding posts. We have also, for I think probably for the first time that I remember seeing anyway, we have a nice subwoofer output here. This is a real subwoofer output with a filter. So it goes from 60 Hertz to 200 Hertz. So fairly decent. I wish it went a little bit lower than 60, but still, at least it's still in the right direction. Remember 60 because these are small. Usually you're going to pair them with some smaller speakers, and most small speakers start to really suffer below 60 Hertz. So it's actually may not be a bad thing for what it's meant to be. There's also a bypass feature, which is kind of nice. You can also have your RCAs are actually still can have regular single-ended input and output. And so that's actually a pretty, you also have RCA single inputs here, so you can actually run it single-ended as well. And the RCAs, you can also adjust the attenuation to regular or plus 3 dB, depends on what equipment you are sending it to. Another great feature, we now have trigger in, and on the preamp we have trigger in and trigger out. So this is really, really good. And this is for the power output. The only negative, I would say, the DC 12 volt and the 24 to 48 volt both have the same size of jack. So if you accidentally take the 48 volt and plug it in the 12 volt, bye-bye T20. So I wish they had two different form factor for the inputs, but again, just be careful. They are the same size, you just make sure you don't mix them up. The packaging is really nice. They even provided some nice covers for the RCAs just to make sure they don't end up corroding. So which is all little nice little gestures. Now, Aiyima is still in the works of doing a D20 version of the same kind of system, and it's going to be the same form. You can stack it below this or in between, and it's going to be the digital, basically, DAC to go with a lineup of these, what I call slightly higher end products. Now, while I'm in here, I just want to mention a little bit another product here by Aiyima. This one is not a fairly new product, but it's been around for not too long, and it's the Aiyima A80. It's basically what it is. It's an all-in-one beautiful little mini system. Basically, it has a DAC and an amplifier. So it's basically, as you can see on the back, you have, this is just RCA input. So this is for the folks that want just something simple, just want to have a little, basically, little DAC and a little amp. So it's all in one, and it's kind of ready to go. It's got basically your regular DAC inputs like your optical, your USB-C, and it has also TRS for the inputs as well. And it's got the trigger and the auxiliary out. You could use it as a subwoofer output as well. It is not like the like the A20 where you can have a filter adjustment, but it's meant to use with another basically a subwoofer that has all that. Remember, this is supposed to be a simplified system where it actually basically like one box that kind of does quite a few things. I like the little basically the digital LED display here, which just makes it a little bit nice and contemporary looking. But let's go back to the ones here, or the T20 and the A20, which I'm quite interested in. The T20, when you first power it on, basically it has a 20-second countdown, basically letting the tubes warm up before you can actually get sound out of it, which is normal because we all know tubes take a little bit of time to warm up. So another just to show that the tubes are actually do work, and they're not just for decorative reasons. The other thing is all the volumes have a nice really feel to them. You can feel them like click, click, click. Feels kind of nice, and I like the finishing on them. So they're actually, it has a really nice, beautiful feel and look to it. You can switch here between RCAs and XLR, and you can put it on off or on standby mode. Now, if you are wondering what is the sound quality of the T20 and the A20, it's actually fairly nice. I kind of like the sound. It's very neutral compared to some of their other products, so I find they kind of strike a good balance with this one. So it's a nice neutral sound. Now again, this is not a super high-end equipment, but for the price you're getting a really good quality value for your money. As for the A80, it's a very traditional to the regular Aiyima kind of sound if you're used to some of them, which is decent. It's nice for a small startup of a package, or someone that wants something in a small room and doesn't want some big, gaudy equipment. So it appeals to quite a few people in that category. There are no bass and treble adjustments here because, once again, Aiyima went to the pro kind of version where they do not have, most professional equipment does not have bass and treble, because now we're using a neutral sound. We don't want to color the sound, so it is as neutral as can be. There is no DAC in those two, so this is just a preamplifier, this is just an amplifier, and the upcoming D20 will be basically the DAC for the system. If you want something that has basically all three of them at the same time, then basically something like the A20 would be more like the go-to here system, because you get basically an amplifier, a preamplifier, and a DAC all in one little box. Summer's been a very busy time for me, so I've been keeping busy, but I have been exploring and experimenting with some new products, and there's some really exciting things coming up. If you have not joined my Patreon, I usually post quite a few interesting videos that you do not see on my regular channel, and some of these, and there's some upcoming really big news coming up. Things are gonna really change how things are done. So you might really want to join my Patreon. I'll put a link in the description below. I will put a video here about a different Aiyima product, and in here there'll be possibly about my GAP30D1 DAC and maybe some music that is in very high quality to listen to. You can subscribe to my channel to help me as well. Take care, and I hope to see you again.